Good morning, beautiful. So I'm back. You might be wondering, you're wearing a sweater, it's clearly too cold to be in the pool. Well, the child in me wants to be out here, and the adult in me wants to make sure I don't get sick. Whew. All right, too much fun. I guess this is a rant video. I want to talk about how we find ourselves. What is the process of you figuring out what are you made of? What are you capable of? You know? Have you ever struggled or have been in a problem in life, situation, lost your job, got sick, where you had no idea what to do? You had no idea what to do. So, in desperation, you sometimes would you sometimes would ask other people what they would have done in your shoes, what they would rather do, and just for advice. And then you figure out, I'm going to check if I'm still recording. And then you find out that they are just as clueless as you are, and their advice is even more sillier than what your own mind was coming up with. And then what happens is now you're forced to look inside, you're forced to face yourself because you're now standing at the doorstep of the unknown because you have no idea what to do and you have no choice but to figure it out. That's when your soul wakes up again because you're not in the known of subconscious programming anymore. And then you take risks because there's no other choice but to take risks. You try some things and you fail. You try some things and you get some benefit. You try other things and it helps you just enough to keep floating, keep your head above the water, but it's not really getting you out of the water. And then you just keep trying. And then something pops in you. A breakthrough happens. Something inside of you, the creative center in you, somehow, because you're trying, right? You're not giving up. You're trying and you're failing and you're trying and the higher self then comes in and hands you a gift, a breakthrough idea, one more risk, one more shot, and that somehow works. And it changes everything inside of you. It changes you without you even noticing. It changes you genetically, changes your energy, changes how confident you are within you. You figured it out. You tried enough things, you knocked on enough doors, and you found the door where you healed yourself, or you finally started a business, or you got a job where you have to worry a lot less about the problems that you were trying to get yourself out of, and you got yourself out of it. And that is an example of you changing matter with matter. It takes time. It's painful. While you're changing things matter to matter, you have relationships that don't work. You get into relationships that are not good for you, friendships that are not good for you. We attract what we are. We don't attract what we want. We attract the equal of what we are in that moment. I hope my phone's not going to drop. It's windy. It's getting warm though. I'm proposing that you start changing matter with energy. You know? I propose that you, since we attract what we are, since the universe cares so much about who we are trying to be in that moment, why don't we choose the right version of us? Why don't we synchronize our energy to the version of us that we would like to be? Which is what we're going to do today at 4 p.m. And when you synchronize the energy to the future you, now the circumstances and coincidences and opportunities would have to match to the equivalent of what you're trying to be, because your state of being changes. And when the state of being changes, electromagnetic energy in your field changes. You change your genetic destiny. You change your biological destiny. And when you do that, your hologram is just a reflection of your inner world. So when you change your inner world, your outer world changes. And if you change yourself from outside of space-time, then it happens instantaneously. It happens a lot faster than you can imagine, and it surprises you. It comes into your life in a way you would never imagine, but it leaves no doubt that you made it happen. In fact, you'll have this moment where you'll know exactly what you did and when you did that caused your reality to shift. But don't be afraid to be in a bind where you're forced to wake up your soul and try things and fail. Because I have a friend, he has a quote. I like that quote. And the quote is, people don't fail, they quit. Because if you fail a few times and then you succeed, right? If you all of a sudden don't fall off the bike and you can now balance yourself, and you fell off 10 times before you could learn how to balance yourself, all of those 9 failures were stepstones that took you to the success of you not being able to fall off the bike. So those were not failures. Failures forces us to look back at, contemplation. When people succeed, right? If I just hold my daughter's hand and just buy her a business and buy her whatever the car she wants and buy her whatever she wants, she will become a very sad child, because people find meaning in doing things. I would take purpose away from her, if I hand everything to her. People find meaning and joy in the journey towards a particular destination, towards a goal, towards an achievement. There's this struggle that people find meaningful in, almost as if the destination is not the journey. The journey is what brings meaning to your life. And the meaning of something, our brain is designed to find meaning in things. You know, we have the lowest level cognitive abilities that we have, the most instinctual cognitive abilities that is very dirty and very quick. And it's quick enough that it'll move you out of the way of a striking snake. Okay? Or when you burn your hand over the stove. It'll move it along. It's so quick that your conscious mind can't even capture the process of it. There's a name for it. What is the name for that? It'll come to me. But it is the most basic form of our cognitive process. And when something startles you, right? A death of someone, a relationship gone bad, or something horrible that happens to you, or it startles you. It could be a happy one too. And something that startled you enough that you think about it for a year, let's say. And you're unpacking it in your mind, you're thinking about it all the time. And orienting reflex, that's what it's called. So the whole year that you're thinking about something, that process of the entire year, you unfolding and finding why it happened, how it happened, is an unfolding of the extension process of the orienting reflex. And it's very hard for people to let it go until they find meaning in it. The thing that happened bad and worse, and somebody tricked you, and somebody took advantage of you. And then the last moment where everything starts to make sense, and you're almost grateful for that tragedy that happened because it brought you to a new level of consciousness, a new level of awareness, the new version of you that can now deal with things from a higher level of consciousness with more confidence. And you can bless people when they are treating you bad. You're more kind when people are being impatient. You're more generous when people are becoming selfish and they don't want to give and contribute. You're becoming more kind and more patient and more giving. All that is a higher consciousness version of you. I've been thinking about this, so I figured, you know what, why don't I think about this as on camera? I don't know if I'll post this, but journey, the struggle, the work, crossing the river, it is so meaningful. It is so fulfilling. When you get to the other side, when the mystical grabs you, when you know the taste of how to become nothing so that you can become everything. When you have those experiences, you're in such awe of life and you feel so much kindness and love for the version of you that couldn't do that, didn't do that, that struggled with it. And that version of you has now collapsed into back into the wave as a possibility. And the new version of you has collapsed down. Your frequency is higher, your consciousness is higher. You can see more truth, your senses have heightened. You have understood and trained yourself of what it's like to be free in all of life, courageous, fearless, kind, patient. Surprises you when love just hits you out of nowhere and you're driving and you're out there in a grocery store somewhere. And you just smile. You're so happy, you don't even know why. But that's because you have learned how to be present and awake. You're not going unconscious. And when you keep bringing yourself back into that generous moment, you constantly start to feel the real you, the energy that you're made of, the foundation of who you are. And you can feel that in the present moment. And what that is a feeling of pure love in all of life. I think that's about it.